I just figured I would start this video by stop the cap. Listen, not necessarily that this article is cap, but you not wanting Davante Adams is cap. It really is, man. You may tell yourself that, but I guarantee you it would break the internet if this guy was traded to the Detroit Lions. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I go out, I come back home, and I'm getting people in my Twitter sending me this article from ESPN Plus about the Detroit Lions potentially being in the running for Davante Adams. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right. Now, let's not get it twisted. I want a pass rusher, and I would prefer if the Lions did that. But like we discussed last night, if the Lions were to trade for Davante Adams, they would have the best offense in the league, better than the Baltimore Ravens, better than the Buffalo Bills, better than the Kansas City Chiefs. You would have to stop. We talked about this. You're talking about Davante Adams, Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, David Montgomery, and we ain't even got to the role players yet, okay? So let's not pretend as though we wouldn't have a fit. We wouldn't be through the roof if this happened, all right? Now, this is a situation where I would prefer an edge rusher, all right? That's just me. I think our wide receiver core is solid. I don't think it's one of the best in the NFL, but I think it's solid. This move here would make us one of the best in the NFL. Our top three, our three-headed monster would be tough. It would be tough to beat. You could argue maybe a Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs. I mean, you could argue it'd be top three in my opinion. Wide receiver trio. And that would tell me, if the Lions did something like this, that would tell me that they are trying to outscore you, that they're going to be content with the defense. And we're going to talk about an edge rusher later as far as why that might not be the best idea to not get an edge rusher, a quality edge rusher. But we'll talk about that in a later video, something I saw today. All right. But this would put all the pressure on opposing defenses. We are going to come and we're going to score. You're going to have to stop Davante Adams, one of the best route runners, if not the best route runner in the National Football League, even at 31. Let's stop playing. Jameson Williams and Mr. Always Open himself. We would have, man, Speedy, Rowdy, and Always Open. Speedy, Rowdy, Always Open. But what am I talking about? Coming from ESPN, this one that subscription pays for itself, says, this is from a mailbag, says, the Lions, the trade deadline is November 5th. And if you're wondering what kind of cap space your team would need to acquire Adams, the answer right now is about $14 million. Adams' base salary is $24 million. And Adams' base salary in 2024 is $16.89 million. If you divide that by 17 weeks plus the bye week to get his weekly salary, which comes out to $938,333.33. There are 14 weeks left, so his weekly salary multiplied by 14 is $13.77 million. Adams also gets a $30,000 roster bonus for every game he's on an active roster. He's currently on the Raiders roster. So there's $390,000 worth of those left. All right, it gets good. So for every week a suitor waits, it can drop the cap number by almost $1 million. If a team acquires Adam next week, it will be on the hook for about $13 million in cap space. The week after that, a little more than 12, and so on and so forth. So 11, 10, 9, 8. If they wait to the trade deadline, you will need $8.85 million left on his salary and $260,000 per game in roster bonuses still to go. Okay. All right. Now, that's where the $8 million came from. But as I wait to bring in this other part, so much stuff has come out. When Antonio Pierce referred to people on injury, all right, in yesterday's press conference, he used the other two by name. And when it came to Davante Adams, he used the number 17. He did not say his name. He didn't say his name. I don't know what happened between the taping of receiver and today, but something is afoot. Now, again, you guys think Davante Adams is a diva. I do not think that at all. I don't know him, but I don't think that at all. You want to call somebody a diva? Stephon Diggs is a diva. Every receiver, every great player wants the football. They do. Okay. Not everybody's going to be Barry Sanders where you just don't say nothing, right? You rather retire than play for another team. Okay. But here's the part that's kind of crazy to me, that I wonder if this is indeed Cap, as the kids say. Says the Jets, Cowboys, Commanders and Lions are among potentially interested teams with enough cap space. So here's the thing, potentially. Where is this coming from? Did you make this up, or is this actual knowledge? Is this actual sourced information? With enough cap space to trade the Steelers for now. And check this out. The Steelers, who currently have roughly $10.5 million in cap space, would probably need to wait until the deadline or find another way of creating space. If Adams, who has 2 years left on his contract after this one, with scheduled salaries of $35 million in 2025 and 26, that means he, like I said, he won't be on the Raiders, period, but he wasn't going to be under this contract. But none of that money is guaranteed, so there'd be no cap hit for the acquiring team next year if it released him at the end of the season. Okay, so basically, you would have to get a 1 year. He would be a loaner. That's what Davante Adams would be, is a loaner. Now, that is a lot. That is a lot to invest in a loaner. Now, here's the question that I have for you. And stop the cap. Like, real talk. Let's have a real conversation. Believe it or not, this is a safe space. Now, according to SpotTrack, the Detroit Lions have $28 million in cap space. That's from over the cap. It is 49ers, Browns, Patriots, Lions, Raiders. Those are the top five. According to SpotTrack, it's 49ers, Browns, Lions, New England, Raiders. So it's the same thing. Nope. So they're different on the sites. And yesterday I could have swore I saw 23 million, right? But let's stop the cap. Would you prefer an edge rusher? I would, that's what I would want. Okay. Max Crosby, we will talk about him, but they're not going to get rid of both those guys. I just don't see that. I really don't. I don't see them getting rid of Max Crosby. Okay. They're trying to jettison Davante Adams for a number of reasons. And you got 35 and 36 million reasons why. That is $71 million that the Raiders are on the hook for. And without a restructure, the acquiring team would be on a hook for. Now, Brad Holmes has traded for wide receivers, loaner wide receivers. Donovan Peoples-Jones is one of them. His track record with wide receivers is not the best. But here's where I got a question for you. We all know that we want an edge rusher. You know that has not changed. However, let's entertain this. Let's say the Lions are indeed one of the teams. This would be a loaner. A loaner. We would basically trade for him and a loaner as a loaner, because we're not going to, without a restructure, he ain't going to be a Detroit Lion next year, right? Now, how many teams can make a multi-deal after this year? I don't know. Would the Lions do that? Probably not. We got to sign Hutch. We will extend him. We're supposed to be signing Aleem McNeil. So Aleem, if we don't do an extension in the middle of the season, okay, which both parties are not opposed to, he got to be a priority in the offseason. But we know what happened with, but the difference between Josh Reynolds and Aleem is Josh Reynolds was not drafted by. I noticed that. Josh Reynolds was not drafted. Brad Holmes said Jamal Williams and Josh Reynolds were priorities. They weren't drafted. In essence, they weren't his guys. But his guys, he extended. So I noticed that, right? So I think that both Aleem and Aiden are safe to be extended with the Detroit Lions if they choose to. Well, Aleem, if he chooses to do so. But when it comes to Davante Adams, most likely being traded to a team as a loaner, would you say no? The question is not if we need an edge rusher. The question is, do you want an edge rusher? That's not the question. The question is, if we traded for Davante Adams on a midseason loaner, would you say no? If we were to do it this week, we would owe him $14 million. Would you say no? We would not get a pass rusher. That would be out the window. And if we did, he wouldn't be high quality. So that would be a no. Okay. So what would you do? I'm going to keep it a buck. If we traded for Davante Adams, I would lose my stuff. I would lose my stuff. And I would say, okay, Brad. All right. Because I've said this before. If we don't have the defense, the offense has to carry the weight. I think that it would be this. Davante Adams will be a loner, okay? Because okay, listen, here we go. I'm going to tell you this is what I want, all right? Man, I love this platform. I love being able to speak my mind, bro. Here's what I would say. If you are not going to trade for a Max Crosby, I'm just throwing names out there. Some of them are realistic, some of them are not. A Max Crosby, a Josh Hines Allen, maybe put a Hassan Reddick on there. If you're not going to trade for one of those guys, okay? They ain't messed up my flow. Oh no. Oh no. These people be tripping. All right. Okay, where was I? If you're not going to trade, so here's my would Lions Syndicate, would Derek trade for Davante Adams? This is the condition I trade for Davante Adams. Well, you also have the draft capital, and I think the Raiders want a second, but I don't think they get one. I think they get somewhere in the ballpark of Keenan Allen. All right. I would put Davante Adams in a tier above Keenan Allen, but Keenan Allen, I feel like it would be vintage. It would be, I think Mike Evans and Keenan it would be Davante, Mike, Keenan. That's what it would be. Although all three of them are dogs, but I would put because Davante route running is just crisp, right? So here's the way that I would take this. Unless you are going to trade for Josh Hines Allen, a Trey Hendrickson, a stud edge rusher. I do not want a mid-tier, bottom-tier edge rusher. That's not going to help us. If you're going to get a Marcus Davenport-esque pass rusher, you might as well keep James Houston on this team. If you weren't going to do that, trade for Davante Adams. Go right ahead. We not on the hook for him next year, right? We're probably going to cut him. He would be cut. As a matter of fact, the Raiders had an out after this season. They had an out, and they're going to take it. No more guarantee money. It's going to be very difficult for any team to pay that, and I don't see any team paying that. But that's almost a steal now with what these receivers are getting paid, right? So if we're not going to trade for an elite pass rusher, we might as well keep the guys we have and make our offense unstoppable. So after phone conversations and interruptions, the way that I trade for Davante Adams, I will trade for Davante Adams if we are not going to trade for an elite pass rusher, because that means that our offense has to do it all. Our offense, the defense will do just enough, and the offense wins us the games. That's how that would go. And we didn't have that defense last year. We didn't have the do just enough defense. That defense didn't do nothing, right? I think we have just do enough defense. They did it on Monday night, but the offense had to also carry most of the weight, right? So if that offense, and it would be very, very difficult to stop. So my answer, trade for Davante Adams, loaner deal. Right now you're talking about $13 million. We got that money. Loaner deal, man. Win or go home. And then in the offseason, we deal with our guys. Because that's what Davante Adams will be for the Detroit Lions, is a loaner. I take that if we're not going to trade for an elite pass rusher. That like I said, a Trey Hendrickson, a Khalil Mack, I still think he's elite as well. So that's my answer. Let me know what yours is in the comments below. I have something to show you in the next video. Also look for a short and this channel. And don't forget, man, the first link in the description is the link to Whitebeard Signs, the Lions It's promo code LS30 to get $30 off your LED sign purchase. It does not apply to the small 10-inch desk lion. You guys are awesome. This channel is brought to you by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.